next one. Georgia Tech's playing really well. They've played really well after Christmas. I think they've maybe 4-1. Certainly coming off a great win at Syracuse. You know, I just feel like Alvarado is certainly a guy who controls tempo for him and is a very confident player at the point. The addition of James Banks has really helped their team. You know, being able to have another guy inside. He was a big-time recruit out of high school, and he's shown this year, you know, he's about 10 or 11 points and 8 rebounds and 3 blocks. That he just anchors their defense. Very good on pick and rolls, and then also in their zone. So their defense has been outstanding, and they just kind of gotten some confidence here lately. Obviously had a great chance to beat Virginia Tech in the game that they lost. Had a layup to take the lead with less than a minute to go. So I feel like we're playing a team that's coming in with a lot of confidence and you know, playing well, and we're going to have to execute at a high level to win. Questions?
Brad, when you look at this team 0-3, is it an 0-3 team, or is it a team that's just kind of has a little bit?
Yeah, no, we're an 0-3 team. That's what the record is, and you know, I think we've certainly played very good competition. You know, Syracuse showed last night that when they're right, they can beat anybody in the country. And obviously, Virginia and Duke are both really talented, tough places to play so far that we've played, and I think we've gotten better defensively the last couple of games, and pleased with our effort in the Syracuse game and in the Virginia game. I thought, you know, I told our team the other day that I thought we played 5 out of 6 pretty good halves, but offensively, you know, we're not finishing plays, and I think we were 5 for 13 basically at the charge circle, so basically at the rim in the Virginia game. And you know, we thought when we looked at the film that really about 70-75% of our threes were good looks that you would take in a game against Virginia. And you know, you need to be making 35 to 40% of those threes, and we're just not doing it. And so we're spending a little more time in skill work. The guys are coming in extra every day, and we're getting 20 minutes of extra work in, whether it's finishing, whether it's shooting, whether it's some other skill that you might need with the assistants one-on-one, going along with practice and film and all the other things we do. And guys still stay after on their own and shoot, but we just got to kind of work our way out of it. And there's no other way to do it other than to, you know, keep persevering and work a little bit harder. And so that's what we're trying to do.
Brad, outside the 0-3 start in the ACC overall this season, are you hitting the goals and some of the earmarks that you set for the team?
Yeah, you know, it's been a little bit of a tough year in certain situations, just in that Eli starts the year with a sprained ankle, and he's fine now. And you know, Shelton, I don't think is, you know, I think his knee is probably bothering him more than, you know, than he would want to let on. But so he probably isn't, you know, doesn't quite have the juice that we hoped. And then Marquise has obviously had a knee injury and been out, so it's a little bit hard when your 3 best players have all been battling different things, and it's not something that we would have liked or hoped for. You know, I do think in the non-conference, you know, it was going to be hard to beat Mississippi State without Marquise. But, you know, obviously the Creighton and Nebraska losses were games we had chances to win. And, you know, we just didn't play well enough to finish the Nebraska one, especially. That one probably stings a little bit more because it was at home. And, you know, it was a game we feel like we should have finished. Creighton was tough, 3 games in 3 days. I thought we wore down, and their style was a little bit hard for us in that short of prep. You know, we just didn't play well enough. Having said that, we haven't had, like, bad losses. I mean, we've beaten what looks to be, I told everybody that South Carolina would play better, and they're playing very well right now. And so that looks like a very good win, and we beat a solid Georgia team in the tournament. We beat some good teams, Radford and Lipscomb, who are both very good teams that could be in the NCAA tournament. So I think we're a team that has done some okay things. I think we just all hoped that we'd be doing a little bit better. And, you know, we've just got to keep our head down and keep working and try to stay positive and get through this. there's going to be weeks like this in the league. I mean, it's a very difficult league with a lot of really good teams, and most teams are going to go through a tough patch, and hopefully we're going to get ours out of the way if we can get something going here.
With the adversity that came with the injuries that forced some of this, have you seen any positives as far as development and able to get these guys in there, even if they were forced in at times they weren't needed?
I do think, I think Clyde is getting better, and I think he's the guy that's benefited the most from Marquise's timeout. I think John Newman, I've got to keep pushing John Newman. Physically, he's able to play. There's been some things mentally that have kept him from getting more time, and some of it I've just got to let him play through a few more things. But, you know, I think Trey Jemison is beginning to, you know, get a few minutes for us now that he's been around a little bit and knows more about what's going on, how we like to do things. So certainly that, you know, the injuries have given some guys more opportunity, but, you know, all in all, it would be much better if we were all healthy the whole year, just kind of in our rhythm and flow. And but that's not what it is. So you deal with what it is and move forward. And I think our guys still have a very good attitude. We're still working hard and feel positive about our team and what we can do.
You touched on it a bit, and how Georgia Tech's been pretty good since the Christmas break. What are their big strengths that kind of give you guys challenges?
Very good defensively. Their numbers are great. Teams don't shoot very well against them from 2 or from 3, and some of that is because of Banks. When you have an elite defensive center, he protects the paint, and it also allows you to kind of stay home more with some shooters because you're not as worried if a guy drives. They're going to meet a 7-footer at the rim, and so that makes your perimeter defense better. So I think that's the main thing is how good they've been defensively. Offensively, I think they're just, you know, starting to find a little bit more rhythm. Josh has mixed his lineup, you know, a little bit like a lot of teams that are trying to figure out exactly who plays well with whom. They can play big when they play Gee at the 4. They have he and Banks in there together. That's a very formidable, big, strong front line. You know, but they can also downsize and play 3 guards and an undersized 4 and spread you out. You know, they run a lot of the Princeton type offensive stuff and some old Johnny Orr 2-guard stuff that really runs clock, and I mean that in a good way. It flows into their offense and allows them to manage games and do a lot of good things with how they play. So they've done a really good job coaching those guys.
Are you seeing your team run the X's and run the plays well, just not being able to finish it? And how much of that is confidence?
Yeah, I think by and large, you know, especially the other day against Virginia, I thought we executed a lot of what we were trying to do in the game. You know, certainly you don't get any easy baskets against Virginia, and so because of that, sometimes when you do get an open shot, you just don't have as much confidence because you haven't maybe gotten an easy one to help build your confidence. So I think that's more where it comes in. You know, Amir got 2 wide open shots at the beginning of each half, and you know, unfortunately didn't make either one of them. And you go back and look at the film, there's great execution, exactly what we wanted. Eli made an unbelievable pass on the slip in the second half, but it just didn't result in a basket. You know, guys are trying hard to make them, and sometimes you begin to press a little bit, and you know that may be happening with a couple guys, and we're just trying to get them to relax and keep shooting, and you know, hopefully we're going to break out of it. Man, we know that our guys are better shooters than their stats show. You know, Amir's had a game where he's made 5 threes, and certainly Shelton and Marquise have both had games where they've made 5 threes in their career. So, you know, at any time that could happen. Hopefully it'll happen tomorrow.
Any more questions?
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.